Welcome back to part two, and we're still talking about movies because last year was a really fucking good year for film. The next one on my list is Ultraman Rising, and I'm gonna be real with you, I've never been an Ultraman fan. I grew up with Power Rangers. I know this comes from like the Super Sentai genre. Again, I don't know, I might be totally wrong about that, but I love stories about accidental parents and people who were never meant to be parents figuring it out as they go along. And with this story, with the cutest little child ever in this movie, was melted my heart. And the story was also captivating, but it was these small interactions with like the main character and the child monster in the movie that really just sucked me into the narrative and just sucked me into this relationship, and it was just honestly like it warmed my heart. This movie, I saw the TV glow really toyed with me. Like this movie really sat with me. Because the movie dealt with themes. Number one, first and foremost, this is a trans allegory, and I don't know anyone who saw this movie and did not pick that up immediately, but the movie really resonated with me on a spiritual level because it also just had themes about like not living to your fullest potential, and that deep down inside of you there is someone in there that is beautiful, that is mesmerizing, and that if you don't let out and be the person that you are meant to be, you are going to die. You are going to die. And it was the most horrifying movie I saw this year because just the implications behind that was absolutely terrifying. And Justice Smith, the last, again, me with third quarters in this movie, in all the films I've watched. The last 5 minutes of this movie, I was in tears. I was in straight up tears. Because it dealt with desperation, it dealt with, just realizing that, like, your life, like, you did nothing with your life. And, I think Jane Schoenberg was the one who directed this movie. Again, correct me in the comments, but I don't want to see a sequel to this movie because they left the movie so ambiguous that if her third movie is a sequel to this, I will genuinely be upset. Okay, when I tell y'all, I don't like the Transformers movies. I did not like the Shia LaBeouf movies. I didn't like the Mark Wahlberg movies and stuff. Growing up, I was never a Transformers kid. I was more of a Gundam kid. But again, like, I love animated movies, and I want to support the animation industry. So I go watch this movie, and this movie's steeped with Transformers lore. But the thing with this movie, it makes it so digestible that the focal point of this movie is between Optimus Prime, played by Chris Hemsworth, and Megatron, played by Brian Tyree Henry, Paperboy. And all I can say about the movie, it's one of the saddest friendship breakups I've ever seen on screen. Like, it's soul crushing because you know it's gonna come while you're watching the movie. And when it happens, like, you're just like, damn, dog, damn. This was a bit of a sleeper hit, but the best way I could really describe this movie, the Rihanna song, Bitch Better Have My Money? Basically, like, the thesis of this movie. And also, an accidental Batman film that wasn't a Batman film because the main character doesn't take any life, and he's a walking badass during the movie. And also, if you watch the movie a second time, very interesting commentary going on about the state of things around the world. if you catch my drift. Where do I even start with the wild robot? Here's the thing I want to mention, and I should have mentioned this with Transformers 1. I don't like celebrity voice actors because I don't like that I can hear the actor and the actor's not doing a good job. Like, because most celebrity voice actors, you know it's them. I'm looking at you, Chris Pratt and Seth Rogen. But I think with both movies, especially with this movie, is that Lupita Nyong'o does one of the best voice works I've ever seen from a movie, where I had no idea she was in this movie until the end. And everyone does an exceptional job with the voice work in this movie. And the movie just, it reminded me, it gave me the same vibes of the Iron Giant, but very poignant message with the film about parenthood, about how difficult being a parent is. And also, there's a sequence in the movie that gave me tears of joy because it was some of the most beautiful sequence of filmmaking I've ever seen. It's my favorite training sequence I've ever seen in a movie in a long time, and it's up there with Rocky 1, in my opinion. And now, we're going to talk about my favorite movie, Wicked! So, I've been in theater since I was 11 years old. I'm 27 right now. And I've heard every song from Wicked. Every song from Wicked. But I never understood the context of the movie because I had just never seen it and stuff. And I'm glad they split this into two movies because, like, knowing the story now, there's no way they could fit this into one movie. And I'm glad they split this into two movies. But knowing the context behind these songs made this one of the best viewing experiences I've had watching in the movie theater with my little brother. Because there's a sequence in the beginning of the movie that was just pure joy, but thematically speaking, it's devastating to hear it. It's The Wizard and I, and honestly, Cynthia Erivo gives one of the best performances of this year. And if she does not win the Oscar for Best Actress, I'm gonna crash out because she is absolutely mesmerizing and gives a role-breaking performance in this movie. Ariana Grande. And I didn't know she had that dog in her because her as Glinda, I can't see anyone playing this character. Like, these two had such great chemistry that it genuinely, I'm surprised these actors never played them on Broadway. And the fact that we never had a Black Elphaba, come on. Like, if you watch the movie, like, it's kind of silly that, like, there was never a Black Elphaba on Broadway. And I'm just more excited for Act 2, for Wicked for Good, and I saw this 3 times in theaters because of just how much full of light this movie brings. And also very timely to, like, the world right now, if you catch my drift. Yeah, man, so, I don't know, y'all. Go watch movies. Overall, 2024 was one of the best years for movies because even those were, like, my favorites. A lot of these movies back to back were just really fun to watch. Deadpool Wolverine, Blink Twice, and I really think that, like, filmmaking in general is onto a good trajectory because there was a lot of interesting and, like, really great original filmmaking being made last year. And it's fact, like, there were a lot of original movies last year. But I'll do more reviews talking about movies throughout the year, so this is not going to be the last time y'all see me. Have a great night, y'all.